Federal court, siding with Florida, rejects stay of injunction preventing enforcement of U.S. immigration laws. A federal appeals court on Monday agreed with Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody and upheld judgments that barred immigration policy from the Biden administration. A panel of the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals denied the Biden administration's request for a stay of two decisions made by U.S. District Judge T. Kent Wetherell of Pensacola, Florida, who ruled that the measures were illegal under federal law. The Parole Plus Alternatives to Detention and Parole with Conditions policies permitted releasing migrants into the United States despite problems including detention center overpopulation. In a challenge filed by Moody's office, Wetherell in March rejected Parole Plus Alternatives to Detention, also dubbed Parole ATD. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security subsequently moved forward with the Parole with Conditions policy, but Wetherell in May issued a preliminary injunction to block it. U.S. Department of Justice attorneys appealed to the Atlanta-based appeals court and asked for a stay of Wetherell's decisions while the appeal moved forward. In part, the Justice Department argued that a stay was needed to prevent irreparable harms that could occur from conditions such as overcrowded detention facilities. The Wetherell orders frustrate the most effective measures available to DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, to secure the border while protecting the health and welfare of USBP, U.S. Border Patrol, agents and non-citizens during periods of increased border encounters that require immediate action by USBP to avoid overwhelming DHS capacity, the Justice Department attorneys wrote in a May 19 motion. DHS faces an exigent situation at the southwest border. But in rejecting the stay request Monday, the appeals court questioned the arguments about harms, saying the Department of Homeland Security's claims of irreparable injury ring somewhat hollow on this record, considering the department's track record of overstating similar threats in the underlying district court proceedings. The department's ability to ascertain future harm is uncertain at best, said the 8-page decision, written by Judge Barbara Lagoa and joined fully by Judge Robert Luck. Given this record, we take DHS's latest claims of impending disaster if it is not allowed to use either of the challenged policies with some skepticism. Judge Jill Pryor dissented in part, saying she would have granted a stay on the parole with conditions policy. Lagoa and Luck are former Florida Supreme Court justices who were appointed to the appeals court by former President Donald Trump. Pryor was appointed by former President Barack Obama. Wetherell is a former state appellate judge who was appointed to the federal bench by Trump. Moody and Governor Ron DeSantis have long criticized federal immigration policies, with the state filing a lawsuit in September 2021 alleging that the Biden administration violated immigration laws through catch-and-release policies that led to people being released from detention after crossing the U.S. border. The state has contended, in part, that immigrants who enter the country illegally move to Florida, creating costs for such things as the education, health care and prison systems. The 2021 lawsuit ultimately led to Wetherell's March ruling that blocked the parole ATD policy. Moody's office then challenged the subsequent parole with conditions policy. Monday's ruling did not resolve the underlying legal issues in the appeal, it dealt only with the Biden administration's request for a stay of Wetherell's rulings. But in a May 24 court document, Moody's office said the dispute is about an attempt to transform parole from a narrow safety valve into a primary processing mechanism for mass releasing aliens into this country.